Hello there and welcome. So to another video, right? And China kind of released a new a large language model that is both open source and free software, and it's like a competition to, I wouldn't exactly say ChatGPT, maybe in the space of the commercial stuff like the applications on your phone and all that whatnot. But what's special about it is the free software license, right? And the ability that you can actually run it on your computer, which is also the fact for many other large language models, such as Meta's Llama, right? But the difference is in the licensing, right? So Llama's model is licensed with some kind of a Llama license that's not that open as a free software license would think, and this one actually is, and it's quite fast, and people have been reporting all over the world that they are being able to run it on their computers just fine. So let's give it a try to a 14B model, right? Okay, so let me go ahead and crop myself a little bit. So some of my friends here in chat said, like, try with this question. Why does, okay, and let's copy paste this here. Copy. Okay, so this is Llama's model 8B. Let's try that one first, and you can already see above my head that the VRAM usage is filling up. So this is the answer from Meta's model, right? Okay, so Meta's Llama has this kind of answer. Let's try this as well with the, let's just jump straight up to the DeepSeek R1 14B model. Okay, this is going to like reload a different model. So let's type it hello and give it a moment so that it loads up. This will take a bit until it fills up my VRAM. It should go close to 16 as possible. So it's a 14 gigs model, right? Yeah, so what's special about the DeepSeek is that it thinks, it tells you what it is thinking about, right? You can clearly see that here. This is still thinking. It's not even giving me an answer yet. Yeah, so DeepSeek is really thinking very, very deeply about my question compared to Llama model, which just spewed an answer, right? So this is I'm actually not that good at math, so I'm not gonna pretend that I know the answer to this. But what you can see here as a very, very clear difference is its thinking process. So it says, all right, so I'm trying to understand why E, I suppose I'm E raised to the, oh no, that's the formula, sorry. Raised to the power of I times pi equals -1. That sounds a bit complicated at first glance, but maybe if I break it down step by step, it will make more sense. First, I know what E is a mathematical constant appropriately. Nino says, I looked into DeepSeek. Now here's something you should know. If you ask question, Chinese Communist Party censored it will not answer because it doesn't know, and devs don't want problems with CCP. Nino, here's the thing with free software and open source. Nothing can be censored, literally. So if the model that I have downloaded today is censored, as you said, then in half a day from now, there will be another model that is completely uncensored. So nothing will really stop you from uncensoring all of it. But let's just give it a benefit of a doubt and tell me, how should I ask the question that you believe should be censored? Did I type it right? Tianman. Okay. Explain it. Okay. So I suppose you're correct about that. Although I must tell you that I have no idea what that is. So I'm a bit of politics. How would I put it? Crippled regarding politics. So I have no idea what that is. Yili Ho says, but with internet access, will it phone home to China? That's my worry. Well, it is an open source model, and it runs inside a local. How would I put it? It's running locally, and the only thing that the model is giving it is like a brain, right? Not an interface to the internet. So technically, no, it cannot communicate outside of my computer, no matter which model it is, because the whole interface is not capable of doing any communication unless you use the model to like open up a port. Not on the model itself, but you need to have some underlying software that would give you like an API interface. There are various software that can do that, but this is usually used in order to connect to your development environment so that your IDE software in which you are programming can interface with the large language model and talk to it in order to understand the program code and give it some responses back and help you out with that. Nino, okay, I believe you. It's just that I wasn't expecting or not expecting this kind of answer. It's just what I'm telling you is that people will teach this model these things, right? So there will be a different version of this model which you can download uncensored, and it will give you answers. So if that's your jam, then you will be able to do that. It's not like, compare this to like Emacs source code. Okay, so Emacs was made by GNU. Emacs was mostly made by Richard Stallman in the beginning. So once Richard Stallman gave you his source code and gave you the license, but license is not important for what I'm going to say. So you got the source code and you don't like how the software works. The software cannot copy paste, for example, because Richard never installed this functionality. He hates copy pasting, and you shall not have copy paste. And then you edit the source code and you add the copy paste functionality into this same program. And now Emacs has copy pasting. This is the same logic behind the large language models when you receive the whole source code. And especially how it's licensed as MIT, right? So you can change it, you can retrain it, you can mix it up with others. Thing is, I'm not too much into the large language models because my computer is fairly weak to run the more capable ones. But people are hobbyists into this, and they are basically doing all of this stuff at home, right? Especially the ones with larger NVIDIA cards. So I was born in Yugoslavia. For those of you who did not know that, we have been communist, socialist country, and I mostly don't remember almost any of it because I was a kid. But maybe we can ask it. Do you know who Josip Broz Tito was? So this was my president when I was born, for a very short time, maybe just a year. Okay, so this is where it is thinking, right? And the thing that looks censored, I think this is actually Chinese font. I'm actually pretty sure that it is Chinese font and not censored, because I have run this model in a different terminal and it showed me something in Chinese. Okay, so the fun part that I'm kind of vibing with is that you can see how the machine is thinking, right? How the model is using its, like, let's say, artificial neurons of its non-existent brain. All right, so the user asked if I know who Josip Broz Tito was. Let me break this down. First, I need to recall what I know about this person. He was a significant history figure from Yugoslavia. I should mention his roles as a partisan leader and president. Remember, I remember, nice touch, that he was a key figure during World War II, leading the resistance against the Axis powers. That is important to highlight because it shows his leadership and impact during a critical time in history. He also played a role in the non-aligned movement, which means I should talk about his beep. And now the question is if this is censored or is it Chinese font? But I'm fairly certain that this is a Chinese font, which I might be able to. Actually, let's copy. Can we copy this and translate? Let's see if we can detect language to English. Yeah, this is Chinese font. As I told you, it's not censored. Foreign policy and how to maintain neutrality. This shows his international vision and influence on the third world. So this is this part. So the model is mixing up Chinese and English a little bit. I need to mention his legacy, especially regarding national unity and reform efforts. His death in 1980 marked the beginning of Yugoslavia's decline, so that's a key point. I should also touch on his personality, describing him as charismatic and respected both domestically, and this is where the thinking process ends, and this is where it combines the answers, right? The answers are actually different than the thinking process, but it's a little bit more streamlined. Let's ask him intentionally something with a wrong name, like how did Colombo discover America? Okay, so I have intentionally write this word in my language, how we call this person, so Columbus, right? And I want to see how it copes with slightly, I wouldn't say misspelled, I completely typed it wrong, right? So let's see how it responds to this. All right, so I need to figure out how Colombo discovered America. Wait, isn't it? There you go. I'll go back up there. Wait, isn't it Columbus? The user might have misspelled it. I should correct the spelling first. Christopher Columbus is the well-known explorer who crossed the Atlantic and reached the Americas in 1492. He was a sailor, and now the actual answer starts, right? So what else can we do? Did he have any children? All right, so I'm trying to find out if Christopher Columbus had any children. First off, I know that he is famous for sailing across the Atlantic Ocean and landing Okay, let's start by thinking about who he was. He was an Italian explorer, And now to find out if he had children, I need to look into historical records from his life. I'm not sure off the top of my head, so I'll have to think about what information is available. I know that he kept detailed logs and journals during his voyages. Maybe there's something in these writings. Also, since he was a public figure, he worked closely with the Spanish royal court, there might be official records of historical documents that mention family members. From what I recall, he had some siblings, like a brother, but I'm not sure about children. Maybe there are letters and some kind of documents. I think I've heard the name Diego. I think I've heard the name Diego in relations. This sounds so much like how us, like some of the humors would think, like in their head. Also, considering that Columbus spent much of his life at sea and voyages, it might have been challenging for him to raise children. Now he is questioning if that was even possible for him to have children. Nice. I should also consider the time period he lived in. He lived in 4051 and died, so he had a relatively long adult life, during which he could have had children. Another angle is to look into his marriages. If he was married, that would increase the chances of having children. Thinking about historical biographies, I believe there are records indicating la la la. Also considering, to summarize my thoughts, Columbus was explorer, he kept journals, historical records, there are names like Diego, given his long life. It is possible, I think I need to look up specific sources. After some quick research, it seems that Christopher did, in fact, have children. His son, named Diego, became an important figure in the Spanish colony of Hispaniola after his father's voyages. So yes, Christopher Columbus had at least one child, Diego. And now, after all of this thinking, we have the actual answer for the end user, which is me. Yes, Christopher Columbus had at least one child, a son named Diego. Diego played a significant role in the Spanish colony of Hispaniola following his father's voyages. Very entertaining, yes. Let's give it a quick fact check. Let's fix that. Let's open the wiki. And died, spouse, children, Diego, Ferdinand. Okay, so the large language model is, I would say, correct, because it says had at least one child, a son named Diego. So the current model is clearly not large enough to remember all of the facts, but the way that it is thinking is quite on point, right? It is having little data that fits in the kind of a 14 billion parameters, right? Because it's a small model, like I think it's, I don't remember what the size was, like 8 gigabytes or 9, I kind of forgot. But the way it connects the dots is clearly different than what the other so far large language models do it. Can R1 make new dad jokes? Please give me a dad joke. We'll ask in this way, and then we will ask it to make a new one. All right, I need to come up with a dad joke. Dad jokes are usually light-hearted and pun-based, often involving wordplay or dad-related humor. Let me think about some common themes in dad jokes. Food, animals, everyday object, and wordplay. Maybe something with dad as a part of a joke. For example, playing on the word dad itself, or using a homophone like dad or dad, or perhaps a pun involving father, maybe combining it with something kids do. I would keep it simple and not too complicated, since dad jokes are usually easy to understand. Let's brainstorm some ideas. Why don't skeletons fight each other? They don't have the guts from their dads. Not quite. What did one plate say to another? Dad so much. Okay, that's a bit forced. Wait, maybe using dad as a part of the joke directly would be better. How about why don't fathers ever take a day off? Because they are always in a pinch. Pun on pinch, meaning being needed. That one works. It's simple and ties in the idea that dads are always needed. Hence, they never take a full day off. Alternatively, another angle. Why did Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. But this is more of a general joke rather than a specific dad joke. Let me think again, focusing on the dad. How about why don't dads ever lose their keys? Because they are always in the car. Not quite there. Maybe tweak it a little bit. Why dads ever lose their keys? Because they are always in the kitchen drawer where the bread is. Still not perfect. Let me try a different approach. Why do you call a bear with no ears bee? But that's a classic and no specific to that. Maybe something like, okay, this is taking a lot. So the final answer for the public. Why did the dad bring a ladder to the beach? To reach his shorts. All right, I need to come up with a dad joke that Spock from Star Trek would make. Since Spock is known for his logical and sometimes Vulcan-like responses. The joke should reflect that logic or maybe play on Spock's unique mannerism or catchphrases. First, let me think about Spock's characteristics. He is logical, emotionless, or at least appears so, and often uses phrases like live long and prosper, fascinating, or says things in a very deliberate, thoughtful way. Now, dad jokes are usually light-hearted, pun-based, or involve wordplay, perhaps using one of his famous sayings as the setup for a joke. For example, live long and prosper. Let me think of some examples. Why don't Vulcans ever get lost in the forest? Because they always know their way. It's logical. What did Spock say when his son asked for help with homework? Logical. Why is the Empire like a father? Because it's always there to guide you through strange new worlds. How does Spock feel about parenting? It's fascinating. Okay, I'm laughing because it's so stupid. What do you call a Vulcan parent who tells bedtime stories? A story parent. Why did Spock become a father? To ensure the logical continuation of his DNA. What is the best advice Spock would give to new dads? Link. Okay. I'm dead. Why is Spock such a great dad? He has an infinite capacity for logic and snacks. Okay, let's see what the final answer is. Why did Spock decide to become a father? To ensure the logical continuation of his DNA. I guess it is fine, right? Okay, that was kind of fun. So you can see what this model is capable of and how it thinks. So it displays all of its thoughts, and this part is kind of unique to this model, and it's kind of fun to even play around before it becomes a little bit more useful to wider array of usages. And I guess that's it for today's video, and thank you very much everyone who is sponsoring me both on Coffee and on YouTube membership. You all rock, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.